What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Walk-Ins Welcome. I am going to get a fresh new opening line for future episodes past 100 because I say the same thing every single time.
It's true. Like, we have to have a revamp of some sort since we broke 100 episodes.
I think we'll have some fun with it and get some in the future. Get the team to cut out snippets and say this is what the episode is going to be about or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say because when I listen to a lot of podcast episodes nowadays, they've all kind of adjusted some of their stuff and they're all different. Anyway, hi everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. So this episode you've probably been listening to a lot of interviews lately. I hope you like them. Please let us know. If there's somebody out there that you said you should come join this podcast, please send us a link. We'd love to have them on. Because there's some, I don't even know, I'm not sure when this episode airs compared to the interviews, but we even have somebody from Soft Health on here.
Right.
And we have somebody from UCA on here. We have somebody from American Family Care. We're checking some big boxes. It's really cool to us. Anyway, if you know anybody, please send that way. Like I said, this is kind of a breakup in the routine of the interviews. As Hannah has told us, we had to have this episode to break things up.
Yeah, one of these days we'll get Hannah on the episode.
I know.
So y'all know about this mysterious Hannah who does everything for our podcast, and really Alyssa as well.
Yeah,
So
exactly, and Alyssa. But yeah,
the behind the scenes of Patient Care Marketing Pros.
I'm still waiting for when the team comes on, like they said they would do.
They're not going to.
No, they're
They
not.
just. I feel like it's one of those. It's like other marketing agencies where they tell you they're going to do something and then they don't.
That was a stab.
Yeah.
Whoops, that came out swinging.
I'm just kidding. You know what? Here's the thing. They're not going to listen to this part anyway, so I don't have to worry.
Remember, it's the biggest separator for us. We do what we say we're going to do.
Yep, we just do the work.
That's our agency for you. But anyway, so let's talk market. It's a marketing episode. It's not an interview episode, and we're trying to talk into the future. That was the wrong button. The future.
Well, it was just backwards. And then the record skip thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're talking about future marketing stuff because we saw this 2 weeks ago, and we're like, oh, we got to do an episode around some of this. And here's the thing. It's not even ready for urgent cares yet. But we know it's coming because it's literally touched every industry around an urgent care except for an urgent care. So it's just a matter of time. But what are we talking about today? LSAs. What does that mean?
It used to be called Google Guarantee.
Which still kind of floats out there in some degree.
So that's what it says, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on the industry. It's a weird way to find your business on Google is what it is. It's not a bad way. It's actually very, very effective. For some of for Nick the Marketer Agency is our legacy agency, and we still have clients that we serve. Mm-hmm. In that, we have a handful of home services that use Google Guarantee.
Like plumbers.
But it's called Google Guarantee.
Roofers.
Right? So it all spun up. Here's the background of it. What it was Google was going to insure your work.
Yep.
That's how it started. That's why they called it a guarantee.
Well, specifically, it started because of locksmiths. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the original, because I looked it up.
It's kind of funny.
Well, it makes sense because Google was running into issue. This is probably 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Something like that.
Google was running into issues in Chicago and bigger cities, and a person would spin up an ads account. A bad person would spin up a Google Ads account because there's no real verification to it at the time. It's changed now, and they would run locksmith ads. Mm-hmm. And they would get somebody to go to the ad and call them, and they would go to their car and steal the car. It's kind of ingenious.
Fantastic.
It's kind of amazing.
Sorry, that's funny to me.
It's right,
I had no idea.
But it makes sense. I can spin up, right now, we can go run an ad, spin up a Google Ads account, run an ad probably in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then get your ads in a day or so, you'll start getting leads coming through. We know this. And they were doing that for locksmiths, but they were robbers. And they would hey, I got stuck in my car. Great, I'll come this way now. All right, I'll unlock your car. Bye. Because the keys are in it.
I'm not sitting here condoning any criminal activity.
That's pretty smart.
But it is the most entrepreneur-driven industry is criminal. It's very entrepreneurial.
Well, it's kind of like the Kia Boys.
Okay.
You haven't seen that one?
No, but I kind of want to know what it is.
All right, so the Kia Boy, this is a TikTok thing.
We'll talk about LSAs here in just a minute. Y'all hang in
We're
there.
just talking about trending stuff now. So Kia Boys is a TikTok trend, and if you own a Kia or a Hyundai car that's not a push button start, so it's a traditional key into the ignition and turn.
So
the
my
key.
Kia is safe.
Your Kia is safe. My Hyundai is safe.
Okay.
Right. It's got a smart key. if for the cars that don't have smart keys, so a lot of your Kia Souls and Elantras and stuff like that, Sonatas, there was a a design flaw in the deterrent system. And the joke was, well, the joke slash is what the Kia boys did. They used a USB cable to start your car.
That's glorious.
And, when I first saw it, I was like, are they plugging it into the computer? No, what it is. So within 10 seconds, you can rip off the plastic panel on the steering column where the key is, and then pop out the key ignition piece, just pull it off. And right where it sits, where that key ignition turns to start the car, is a little square nub that a USB fits perfectly on, and you start the car. And so they called it Kia Boys because everybody was doing it. It was so bad that certain cities quit insuring Kia and Hyundais because they would get stolen.
That's kind of unbelievable. Plus, it's the USB. It took them longer to get the USB inserted into that thing after they flipped it over to 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
than it did for them to actually take the panel rip off.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I don't know how we got here, but
we were talking about LSAs and how they were birthed.
Oh yeah, out of locksmithing. And then out of Kia Boys is the new version of that, right, with TikTok stuff. And so even on TikTok, people would tag somebody jumping into a Kia Soul and driving it all over the place and jumping out of it because they stole it. And then anyway,
so because of Kia, Google thought it would be important to guarantee their work. No, that's not true. No. What happened essentially is Google wanted to insure the work, basically a roundabout way of ensuring the work for businesses on Google that were doing a paid search. Mm-hmm. And the reason they wanted to do this is because they were being held accountable and sued for showing an ad in something that was illegal.
And it gave the perception it was 100% legitimate.
That's right. And here's how they legitimize it. And you need to know this. This is part of what we're talking about today is you have to go through a verification process as a business. You have to turn in your EIN number. You have to go through background checks. Your people have to go through background checks.
Not just you.
No. The people that are performing services at your clinic will have to go through background checks, right? Yep. And they verify and then they insure. So now on the service industry side, it's up to $1,000. Right. So if you have a $300 HVAC repair, they'll insure that. If you mess up something and can prove it, you can contact Google. Google will reimburse you that $300. That's the guarantee.
Yeah.
That's what the guarantee stands for.
Yep.
Have no idea how they do that in medical.
No, and we don't know what that even looks like because it's not really presented in the same way. And then the other side of local services, why we do like them, especially for home services, it's a pay per lead model. So you're not paying for clicks. We all know Google Ads, you're paying for clicks. With Google Guarantee local service ads, you're paying for the lead.
And that's where we need to transition the conversation is from Google Guarantee to local service ads because they've changed it.
Yeah. So you're paying for the lead. You have to log into. Now here's the thing. We've learned this the hard way with clients. Just because you have a budget for local service ads and your ad is showing, it doesn't necessarily get used a lot if you don't use their system. So if you're the type where I just don't need somebody else to handle it, don't do local service ads because you would have to tell us, the agency or whomever, yes, that closed. This is what we did. This is how much sold it for regularly to make that profile better.
All right, I'm going to try and clean up what you said just a little bit. only because I understand. If you're hearing this for the first time, I want you to imagine your what is it? The EMR software.
Yeah.
Right. I want you to imagine that software, and you log in, and Sue Ellen was generated into your system. Yep. You have to move them through your software.
Yep.
Right? And whatever stage they're in, you have to move them through that software to finally you're closing up their records and you're sending them their invoice and you're coding it. Okay? Right. So think of it that way. Now think of Google. You're not going to do it to that degree, but something is generated and you have to log into that software. You have to move Sue Ellen from lead generated to active to closed.
Yep. And what happened?
And if you don't do that, they're not going to keep showing your ads. Google wants you get participation awards with Google.
This is a participation reward system.
Exactly.
Because we've had quite a few LSAs and we've learned that the companies that spend the time updating the platform regularly get more of them.
And like, it's not even close either.
It's
a significant amount more.
It goes from barely using a budget to maxing out budget very, very quickly.
So why though?
Why?
Finish your thought, and then sorry, I didn't mean to blurt out on top of it, but I was just like, why?
Yeah, so like at the end of the day, where your from Google's standpoint, it's you are doing what we ask you to do, and you're getting results and conversions from it. So we're going to keep feeding that system, because at the end of the day, Google, whether they're making money or not, their goal is to get that person who did a search the result they want.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Google's first priority is not to make money.
No.
Google's first priority is to have a relevant search.
And with the right result every single time, where when you click on it, you don't have to go to page 2, because the page 1 answer and that first little snippet is exactly what you needed.
So Google, I actually love this about Google. Google's whole goal in life is to give you exactly what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Their whole goal is to give the end user exactly what you want. Like, if you're within a 5-mile radius of a clinic, we'll call it a primary care, right? If you're within 5 to 10 miles of that primary care, they want to make sure that the correct business with the correct amount of reviews and quality scores and all of that stuff is baked into that, so that when you search, they're connecting the right person to the right search.
Yep.
And they're hoping that you click on either a Google ad or a local service ad.
Yep.
Because that's where they make money.
Yep.
But it's relevant. So think about it this way. If that LSA ad, that local service ad is delivered, they click on it, the user clicks on that, and then they're never managed.
Right.
That becomes irrelevant. Well, Google's going to suppress that because it's no longer relevant. It's not being managed.
And
that person had to click more than 5 times to get somewhere.
Well, and then like on the LSA, even if you like, well, I took care of that person. Well, Google will never know that
Unless you tell them.
Yeah. So, and that's just the reality of it. Anyway, so let's transition. Like, so we've been talking about LSAs for home service and stuff. Why are we talking about that on a medical marketing podcast?
That's a great question, Michael. Why?
Because that's what Nick asked when this topic was brought up. And here's the thing. As of today, September 5th, 2023, medical has now been added to LSA. Not all medical.
Where's the hand clap? Where's the cheer? Yeah.
Yeah, here you
That
go.
is, believe it or not, a bigger win than you know.
That's a long cheer.
That is a long cheer.
Anyway, so here's the thing. I'm going to go straight out. Urgent care is not on there yet.
It's coming.
But primary care is. Physical therapy is. I think orthodontist. Like the layers of I think I saw 10 or 12 medical categories added. And when I say added, 2-3 months ago it wasn't there. And these are brand new. And we're not really even seeing them showing up in our search results yet. This is very, very, very fresh. And we're actually experimenting with a physical therapy client right now with it. We'll let you guys know how it goes at the end of the day, to be honest.
We need to add Bates to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
That. I just thought about
Give that away. But anyway, so like it's coming.
Orthodontist on its way.
Yeah, it's coming. And we want to tell you, like, keep an eye. If you're not an urgent care, like as of right now, urgent care's not there yet. It will come. But if you're not an urgent care, but you're in medical, go look it up. You can go look up Google LSA categories and see what's available and take advantage of it.
So Michael, though, let's back up a hair. What is one of the one thing that all of our urgent cares, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2, have in common?
Primary care.
They offer primary care services.
And I'm going to
list your urgent care as a primary care.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's the thing, like you can kind of go and just we are dipping our toes in it right now,
right?
Because we also know Google's really bad about just changing their mind or making it more difficult than it should be.
Yeah, they really do.
Or, oh, it's going to cost more than it should. Like, it's all these things, and we've seen it time and time again. So we're not, like, holding our breath quite yet on the whole thing. But the reality is, you could probably tap into, if you're in urgent care, you could probably offer primary care services. And here's the thing. We just know if you're showing up at LSA level, you're showing up at Google Ad level, you're showing up for the MAP 3 pack, and you're showing up for the organic side, you're probably going to win more patients at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, technically, there's a fourth touch in there too. Isn't that just the MAP 3 pack, right? So
Well, that's what I said, yeah.
Well, you have the LSA, you have the Google Ad,
Yep.
You have the Map and Mobile, and then you have the organic.
Yep.
So I mean, those are 4 touches. If they're seeing your name in 4 different touches in one search, your relevance is through the roof.
And then if you're like a lot of our clients, we also do retargeting, other things on Facebook and social. So it's, at a certain point, they can't escape you, right?
That's right.
Either they just don't like you, or you're just not convenient enough for them.
And that's where we need to talk about review management. But that's another story.
That's
another episode.
There's an episode out there, I'm sure, but review management is important. Oh, here's another. Wait, can I slip this in?
Yeah, I wish you would.
The A2P compliance kicked off officially this month too.
Michael, what is A2P compliance?
Basically, if you were very reliant on texting for marketing purposes and your agency or your software hasn't asked you to submit some information, it's probably not working anymore.
So, real world example would be that you have appointment reminders through text messaging.
And they're not sending it all of a sudden. It's not the software.
No, it's not. Your software is not broken.
It is actually Twilio / all the major carriers have said, we've had enough of spam texting. We're going to put a hard stop to it. And so we're going to have a bunch of casualties called normal people with normal companies.
In business operations.
Right. So, like, and here's the thing. Like, this is a complete side, but I'm talking about things changing, right? So this is affecting clients right now for us. In the agency world, it's affecting thousands of clients. Like it's intense at the end of the day. So much so, like we're secretly hoping it's going to cause damage to Twilio, so they kind of peel some of this back.
So, kicking back over to LSAs, I want to talk about the importance of running these, assuming that it's available in your area, and why you should explore it. Even if you're an urgent care that offers primary care, go ahead and kick into primary care. We have one of our clients, again, this is the service industry side, okay, but just keep that in mind when I'm talking about the numbers. But the difference is when I was looking this morning through their Google Ads accounts, or through our we call it High Level, our software that tracks all of our leads, I noticed that Google Ads had produced somewhere between 18 and 25 leads for them. Some of those were form leads, some of those were phone calls. 71 additional leads came from the local service ads.
That's intense.
Like well over 4x, right? Or 3x, right?
Huge.
So it was significantly more that came from the local service ads. There's a couple of reasons for that. It's the way it's displayed. It gives you more information. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like an ad, and people are often thrown off by ads.
It looks like another listing.
It looks like a listing. It's got Google reviews, the stars, that are separate from your actual profile, right? So people do the reviews are a little different in here. So there's a little bit more credibility that comes along with the local service ads. When you see those pop up, people are now accustomed to that's very relevant to me.
Yeah.
So it's worth paying attention to.
And the other side of that too, that 71 leads, they paid for each lead.
That's right.
Individually. Like it wasn't because like the 18 for the Google Ads leads, they probably paid for 300 or 400 clicks or a couple hundred clicks to get to that 18.
That's right.
So that's another key difference. Now, are we saying Google Guarantee Local Service Ads is the answer to Google Ads? No, it's not. Because at the end of the day, there are things that you can't do inside of LSA.
Correct.
You can't really do offers. There's a lot of stuff you can't do, and it has its limits too because people have blindness to certain things, and you have to capture them everywhere.
I think if I were to wager a bet, Google's goal with the local service ads is to get rid of Google Ads proper. I do think that, like, it feels that way to me.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to put myself on the chopping block here a little bit, I think it's to get rid of agencies.
That or get rid of the professional, because they tried to do that with smart campaigns inside Google Ads.
Right.
Let's just look at your website and auto create your ads for you and
Right.
see what happens. But to me, LSA is you don't need to have any knowledge. Just submit some stuff for us, and then and then you work our system, and then they'll find out that people don't work their system like everything else.
That's right.
And then putting us on the chopping block for Google Ads itself. Yeah, I could see that being a thing, but at the end of the day, that's also, if I'm not mistaken, their primary driver for revenue still is Google Ads. So,
an agency-driven Google Ads,
right?
Just to be clear about that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a lot of normal business owners, they don't have time to mess with it, and then if it's a bad ad, people don't click on it, so they
don't make money.
They don't make money, and also business owners don't necessarily know what a good budget is and all these different things, and they can't keep up with it. So because Google Ads is really bad or good or bad about telling you what your budget should be. And so anyway,
they just make up stuff to get more clicks.
Sometimes they do.
It's an algorithm. So going back to the full piece of it. That's one of the case studies. That's one of the success stories that we've had, and there's a few more in there. We do some other ones. I'm really anxious to get my hands on a medical side of this, because you guys were chatting about that the other day in the office.
Yep.
And I'm like, why are they talking about medical? Medical's not even available. How are they going to record calls? Everything's recorded. Like, how are we going to do this, right? So I am curious, and maybe we'll follow up later once we've gotten some of our own clients under the LSA banner. But I am curious on how they're managing HIPAA. I know Google can be a HIPAA compliant platform, so
And maybe they turn off the recording. Like there may be some
yeah.
nuance to it. But at the end of the day, like Google's going to change it, right?
That's right.
They're because they haven't like fully announced these categories. Like you just had to go find them. You're like, oh wait, that's new. Because we do like category check stuff pretty regularly, and it was definitely not there during the summer. And then I think we may have seen something in July, but then like August was like, whoa, where did these come from?
Right.
So, and it's changing because they even say every month check back, we may have more. So,
Well, again, I go back to the point of their whole goal. They've seen the success of it.
Yep.
People are loving this pay per lead model. You can go in and dispute the pay per lead. Like you can dispute if that's not a real lead or not relevant to your search,
or just a bad lead altogether.
Well, but you can flag it, and they'll go back at the end of each month and they'll review the flagged leads. Now they're going to determine whether or not they think it's qualified or not, right?
Yeah.
So
Qualify is not based on your ability to convert. Qualify based on they were looking for a roofer and they asked a plumber for roofing advice.
that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they're only going to dispute what is credibly disputable.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big word. Anyway,
That's a
look, I
$5
better stop talking. Man.
We hit our mark already. But anyway, so we want to touch on you guys with that real quick, just to kind of say like this is coming. Keep an eye out on it. You may start seeing ads for it. Honestly, like are you running LSAs for your urgent care or whatever? It's coming. It's not here yet, but it's coming. And so if you got questions on that, let us know. So hit us up, hello@patientcaremarketingpros.com. Just let us know if you've seen any of this, if you got some questions. We love helping people.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you have no intention of working with us, but you just need a question or advice, we're here to help.
Well, I think it's important to say that Patient Care Marketing Pros is a digital marketing agency.
Yeah.
Walk-ins Welcome is a pure resource with no strings attached to serve this community.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that they're separate.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we had this time around. Anything else you want to add to that, Nick?
Appreciate you guys listening big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
The podcast continues to grow, and we can't do it without y'all sharing it, telling people about it, and then giving us a review. Those things mean the world to us. We don't ask for anything from you. Go leave us a review. It really helps the algorithms and people that are searching for this type of a podcast. It helps them. Future Tease is our podcast is going to be featured on a prominent website coming up in the very near future. I don't want to disclose what it is. We're finalizing all the details, but I am excited about that.
Actually, I'm not sure what that is either.
Yeah, more to come. We might it might even qualify as continuing education.
Ooh, let's get all the listeners now,
Well,
right?
it's because we don't ask you to buy anything from us. That's the crux of it. Anyway, more to come in the future.
I'm excited. I don't know what this is yet.
That's why it's called. I'm just kidding. Hey, listen, keep listening. Share it with somebody that you like. Share it with two people that you don't like, and we will see you next time.
See ya.